Hi, I'm Grace Smith, your Hypno Coach, and this is the coaching session for session number 14, which is falling asleep to a hypnotic setting sun. The hypnotic setting sun is a very popular device for hypnotists and hypnotherapists and hypno coaches to use. Essentially what happens is when you're lying in bed at night, you begin to imagine yourself in a very, very safe place. For some people, they don't need to imagine it. They just enjoy being in their bed, and they imagine while they are in bed that there's a setting sun occurring outside of their home. And they just imagine that. For some people, when they're lying in bed, they like to imagine that they are on a beautiful beach with the perfect temperature and a perfect breeze blowing, and they're the only ones there on the beach, and they imagine the sun setting over the ocean. That's my favorite. You can also imagine you're in a garden, you're on a mountaintop. The idea is whatever elicits the deepest sense of calm, relaxation, and safety. When you're lying in bed, that's where you imagine yourself. Okay? And then as the sun continues to set and go lower and lower in the sky, you imagine the colors changing. You imagine a slight change in temperature as it goes deeper and deeper and gets a little bit cooler outside. The sounds all around you begin to change. You begin to hear less birds and more crickets. You really elicit all of the senses. In today's recording, I did mostly visual, and one of our viewers just wrote in, amazing, I felt like I slept 2 hours. Loved the sun going down. I could really imagine it. And that's just it. Because we're so used to the visual of the setting sun, it's very easy for most people to be able to visualize it. Or just to imagine it. Even if you don't clearly see it in your mind, imagining that you're seeing it is oftentimes just enough. And in my hour-long recording, I really get into all of the different feelings and sense perceptions that happen during the sunset. And then once the sun goes beneath the horizon and it's pitch black, that's when you just, if you haven't already, you'll fall into a deep, 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 profound sleep. And again, just a few moments of hypnosis are the equivalent to an hour of full night's rest. Just a few moments are the equivalent of an hour. So when our viewer wrote that they felt like they just slept 2 hours and 15 minutes, that's exactly accurate. That's exactly the case. Now, if you come have that hypnosis session with me for a full hour, that's the equivalent of 12 hours of deep hypnotic rest, which is why I have so many people coming to me once a week. Even though they've already overcome all of their challenges and all their phobias are gone and they've stopped biting their nails and they're no longer stressed at work, they still like to come on a regular basis because it is so deeply, deeply, deeply refreshing and rejuvenating and relaxing to get that amount of rest in such a short period of time. And this is important to do for everybody. Even if you don't have difficulty falling asleep at night, the quality of your level of sleep really impacts your overall health. And you can probably hear in my voice I'm a little bit deeper than I even normally am. I have a very deep voice, as you know. And I need to be taking a little tiny bit better care of myself. Our business has been doing so well. I've just been saying yes to everything, and it does start to take a toll. So I have my tea with me, and I make sure that I do this every single night, because the busier we get, the more important our sleep becomes. Oftentimes when we start actualizing our goals and our dreams, there's a lot less free time at first until you make it a real point to build free time and relaxation time into your life. Before you know it, you're going from morning until night. So it becomes even more important that when you sleep, your sleep is extremely, extremely restful and deep. And that you get all of those wonderful REM cycles that you need. I just watched a great video on YouTube about dreams, and they were discussing REM sleep, REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement. And basically what happens is your body has all the same indications of being awake when you go through REM sleep, REM sleep. Your brain activity is the same as if you were fully awake. Oftentimes the heartbeat goes back to the normal rate. There's a lot of other indications on the physical level that the person is actually wide awake. And yet there's a paralysis that happens, so that whatever it is that you're doing in your dream, you don't act it out. You're deeply paralyzed on one level and yet wide awake on another. And that's rapid eye movement sleep, or REM sleep. Now, I know when my kitty cat sleeps, she's fast asleep right now. She just sleeps all day and has no remorse about it. She has no shame. She has fun when she has fun. She purrs when she purrs. She sleeps when she sleeps. There's no guilt. You know, she doesn't sit around saying, oh, I really need to improve my ability of being a cat today. I mean, she just enjoys life every moment. Anyway, I bring her up because sometimes if you have a dog or if you have a cat, you notice when they're sleeping, their paws are moving and you can see that they're chasing their rabbit or whatever it is that they're doing. So their paralysis is not quite the same as ours. If you sleepwalk, there's something that isn't connecting there, right? The paralysis isn't happening as deeply as it does for people who don't sleepwalk. But it's a safety mechanism, so that in the middle of the night, if we're dreaming about something, if we're dreaming about an upcoming speech that we have to give, so that you don't stand up in the middle of the room and start giving the speech, or if you're having a nightmare and you're being chased, that you don't fly off your bed in the middle of the night. So this deep, rapid eye movement sleep is an ability for us to go really, really deep, to get all of the rest we need, and yet our brain activity is still going at the rapid pace. So why am I bringing all this up? Because when you are in deep hypnosis, not sleep, but deep hypnosis, your brain wave levels decrease to a very, very, very slow wavelength. So REM sleep is important for health, which is what all of the dream studies and sleep studies have shown us thus far. There are other periods of sleep where you are producing low-level wavelengths. However, you can go even lower, even slower with your brain wavelengths in hypnosis. Doing this gives your brain such a break. It gives your body such a break. That's why meditation is so healthy. Because even when you're sleeping, as proven by REM sleep, you're functionally awake as far as your brain is concerned. Every time you meditate, every time you do hypnosis, because they're ultimately the same thing, except for one has a goal, hypnosis has a goal, you are giving your brain the rest it needs. Which is why you feel like you've slept for 2 full hours when you do 15 minutes of hypnosis. Because you're actually going deeper than you even do during sleep. Does all that make sense? I'm going to write that in so anybody can type in questions. There's a wonderful guru, I've mentioned him before. His name is Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and he's the founder of the Art of Living, which is the largest volunteer-based organization in the world. It's a non-violence and a meditation school, and they do a lot. I mean, many, many different things. But I went there originally for a meditation class, and that's where I met my fiance. And our teacher there is this wonderful woman. I have to reach out to her because I'd like for her to come on the show to interview her. She said that one time Sri Sri mentioned to her, just imagine that meditation is 20 minutes of wasting your time. If you need to think of it that way, think of it that way. For the next 20 minutes, I'm going to waste my time. I'm just going to do absolutely nothing. I'm going to do absolutely nothing for 20 minutes. I'm going to just notice what thoughts come without thinking about them. I'll just notice them float across my brain like clouds in the sky, and I'll just breathe. And I won't resist anything. I won't resist any discomfort. I'll make, 20 minutes to just completely waste my time. Of course, it's not a waste of time. Of course, meditation and hypnosis are healing your body, healing your mind, healing your life. But if we need to think about it that way, just to get started, then that's a fine way to think about it. It's because so often people will say, but I'm not good at meditating, or I don't know how to hypnotize myself. And they'll try for 2 minutes, and because their mind is still going, they say, oh, I can't hypnotize myself, or I can't meditate. And they stop trying. The fact of the matter is, if you just choose to waste your time every day for 20 minutes with hypnosis, with meditation, with just focusing on your breathing, that day by day by day, you fall into this zone, this hypnotic zone, much easier. And one of our viewers just wrote in, all people should have a hypno coach. I completely agree. That's why I'm doing this. So that literally everybody in the world can tune in and have a hypno coach on a daily basis. There's no reason not to. And another reason why I do this, it's not only to promote my business. Of course, that's part of it. And it's not only because I really truly believe that everybody should have a hypno coach. But it's because I've seen what happens to my clients when they do hypnosis on a daily basis, or even just on a regular basis. They become really nice people. And it's not that they were mean people before, because all hypnosis is doing is it's peeling the onion. It's peeling away all of the layers, all of the stress layers, the junk layers, the defensive layers, the ego layers, because inside you are perfect, whole, and complete. Inside you are a happy, joyful, peaceful, healthy, loving person. So we're just getting rid of all that junk, those outer layers of junk. So in some ways, it's almost a selfish thing that I'm doing. I'm doing these videos every day because I know when the world watches them and takes part in them, that the world is becoming a nicer place. And I want to live in a nice place. I want everyone around me to be happy and nice and smiling. And it can be difficult sometimes for us to notice the changes in ourselves right away. Of course, we notice them long term. But I notice the difference in my clients from day to day. I notice that every time they walk through my door, they're a different person. They're calmer, they're happier, more joyful. And that's part of why I do this every day. It's because I love that. So everybody can enjoy this recording. Allow it to help you fall asleep at night. If you have any requests for upcoming shows, please do let me know in the chat here or send me an email. And take a look at our website, see if there's any MP3s there that you feel you can benefit from. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks so much for tuning in.